Good morning, beautiful friends, touching souls, wherever you are. From the ashram of Avalokiteswara in the northern part of Bali, in the high mountain, I will share to you that I'm deeply happy to meet you again, because as I shared quite often, without oceans, there will fishermen will lose their job. Without the land, the farmers will lose their job. Without well-devoted student like you, a spiritual guru like me will lose the opportunity to beautify the soul. Again, thank you for your sincerity, your willingness to be served by the teaching which is flowing through me. The weather in Ashram Avalokiteswara this morning, the air is very fresh, even though the sky, some of clouds in the sky, but I still able to see some stars. There are singing chickens, singing birds everywhere. Hopefully it is a good omen that the light that I am going to share to all of you today 3 times: morning, middle of the day, in the evening, 6 o'clock in the morning, 12 o'clock in the day, and 6 o'clock in the evening, Bali time. Hopefully the light which is flowing through me be able to dispel some darkness of some beautiful friends. By the time that we are waiting for thousands of friends who are in the process of joining to us, before starting guided meditation, 6 o'clock, 6 minutes past 6 o'clock, let me refresh your memory about the previous teaching. By the time we are waiting to thousands of friends who are in the process of joining, usually thousands of friends, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram as well. In the previous session, I shared to you forgiving is beautifying. Without forgiving, as I often quote from the late Nelson Mandela, every soul will bring portable prison wherever they are. Without forgiving, every person will bring portable prison wherever they are. For that reason, no matter how hard forgiving is, it is very, very important to learn to forgive. I will personally say to you, the most beautiful medicines of the soul in our time is forgiving, especially because the challenges of our time is very challenging. The rate of unemployment is the highest along the history. The economic growth is very sad everywhere. Billions of people lost their job. As a result, stress increased everywhere, depressions increase everywhere, suicide, divorce rate. And that kind of challenging time, let me repeat once again, it is very important to learn to forgive, especially because forgiving is the most important medicines of our time. It is hard to imagine soul can grow and glow without forgiving. For that reason, no matter how hard the feeling outside, learn to forgive. Learn to forgive. Last year, exactly October the 12th, 2019, I shed some light in Zero Ground, Kute, the location where the Bali terrorist bombing happened 18 years ago. There are some foreigners listened to my presentation last year in Zero Ground, Kute. Excuse me. I shared to some foreign friends that there is some hidden light in Bali. There are some hidden spiritual light in Bali. In the beginning of 2000, the most threatening threat here on earth is terrorist bombing. While terrorist bombing happened in every corner of the world, followed by violence and anger, in US was very extreme. The terrorist bombing in US was followed by countless bullets in Afghanistan and Iraq. In Bali is quite unique. There was no single small stone was thrown into the non-Balinese house and non-Balinese shrine. The Balinese elder at that time even did a beautiful ritual, not only to be part of the ashram, myself. I sweep my room. I keep sweeping my room in every morning, mopping as well. Not only something to do with physical exercise, but also something to do to lower my ego, because it is far easier to forgive the others if we keep trying to lower our ego from time to time. Sometimes I sweep the waste on the street, even to the way of the villagers look at me in a very strange way. Every time I have enough time, I go to the street and I sweep the waste on the street. That is how I keep lowering my ego from time to time in order to open the gate of forgiving. The other thing that make forgiving is easy, the other thing is learn to understand the complicated network of suffering behind the person who make you suffer. Suppose that you are harmed by your parent in childhood especially. Learn to understand the network of suffering behind your parent. It can be the financial challenges. It is hard to find income. It can be hard marriage, because to make two personality grow together in a family is not a simple matter. Learn to understand the network of suffering behind the person who make you suffer. The combination between small ego and the deep understanding of network of suffering behind the person who make you suffer, naturally the gate of forgiving will be open to you. That is a short summary of my last presentation in October the 12th, in the time of contemplating Bali terrorist bombing. Hopefully it will inspire your soul journey, especially to give your beautiful soul a beautiful medicine of forgiving, especially because without forgiving, there will be no soul grow and there will be no soul glow. Forgiving, that is the most important medicines of our time. To some of you whose parents die in Kuta on some corner of the world because of terrorist bombing, it is extremely important to forgive. To some of you who lose your parent in humanity tragedy like 1965 that happened in Indonesia, thousands of people die because of the tragedy of Communist Party. It is very important to forgive. It is hard to imagine that the flower trees can grow without water. It is hard to imagine to the lotus flower to grow without the wet mud. In the same way, it is hard to imagine there will be soul grow and soul glow without forgiving. For that reason, no matter how hard your emotion inside, when you forgive, learn to forgive, because that is the most important medicines of our time. That is the most important medicines of time. That's also I keep sharing the message to you. Forgiving is beautifying. When you forgive, the first soul who is beautiful is your own soul. Forgiving does not change the past, but forgiving changes the present into a much more peaceful way. Learn to forgive, no matter how difficult the emotion inside. Learn to forgive. Now we are approaching 6 minutes past 6 o'clock. We are ready to meditate. To some of thousands of friends, wherever you are now, we are now approaching guided meditation. The spelling of meditation and medication is very close. The spelling of meditation and medication is very close. It is not coincidence that the spelling of meditation and medication is very close. It is not coincidence. In the past, it was only written in the Holy Scripture, but in our time, it has been proven by countless scientific research in the well-known university. Meditation is a kind of medication. Meditation does not only heal the mind and also the soul. Meditation also heals your body. For that reason, now we are entering guided meditation. My holy Guru, wherever you are, the living Guru, the Guru of Holy Scripture, the symbolical Guru and the secret Guru, let me be your own humble servant. Let your light flowing through me. Now I am going to guide thousands people in guided meditation. You are the master and I am your humble servant. First of all, cross your leg in order to avoid downward movement of energy. Secondly, make your back and head straight but relax. Your wings, make it as natural as possible, not too open, not too closed. the positions of your hand. It is totally up to you. You may follow your own religions if you like the Hindus who are suggested like this, to release Sattvam, Rajas, Tamas, the bad, the good, whatever, simply release to meet, the symbol of perfection. The Balinese elder call it Nyepilan Ngawindu or Sangyang Bang, the ultimate silence. To some of the Buddhists, you may follow me or you may follow the positions of your hand. We in Indonesia, we have Borobudur, the western direction, eastern direction. It's totally up to you. Some other friends in some other religions, as long as you are relaxed and also peaceful, follow your instinct. Open your eyes a little bit in order to avoid the feeling of being sleepy. The rest, kindly allow me to be your own servant. Now we are going to meditate. In a much more mature level, to meditate is to take a perfect rest. To take a perfect rest, that is the innermost core of meditation. To put it more precisely, to take a perfect rest from any kind of inner conflict, like sad, glad, pain, pleasure, sorrow, joy, like, dislike, comfort, discomfort. Simply take a perfect rest. That is the innermost core of meditation. No matter what is the blessing of this moment, whether you like it or you dislike it, simply take a perfect rest. That is the innermost core of meditation. Here in Ashram Avalokiteshvara, we hear the sound of singing birds in the distance. We hear the sound of motorcycle in the distance. Simply take a perfect rest beyond bad and good, beyond right and wrong, beyond false and true. Simply take a perfect rest. Especially because everything that happens in this universe, everything is the dancings of the same perfection. The glad, sad, pain, pleasure, sadness, smile, whatever that happens in this universe are the dancings of the same perfection. For that reason, take a perfect rest, touching soul. Take a perfect rest. To put it more practical, learn to feel the gap between two breaths, between in-breath and out-breath, between out-breath and in-breath. There is a gap. Even though it is less than 1 second, simply feel the gap between two breaths without prolonging the breath, without shortening the breath. Simply feel the gap between two breaths. That is how exactly to make the mind perfectly rest in this moment as it is. Feel the gap between two breaths. Whatever the blessing of this moment, from numbness until peace of mind, from the singing birds until the voice of motorcycle, take a perfect rest by filling the gap between two breaths. Quoting from one of the old scripture from the land of snow, Tibet, dry season does not reduce the amount of water in the universe. Raining season does not increase the amount of water in the universe. In the same way, sad, glad, pain, pleasure, sadness, happiness, failure, success, they do not decrease or they do not increase anything. For that reason, rest the mind in the gap between two breaths. When you perfectly rest your mind in the gap between two breaths, you give the most beautiful gift not only to your mind but also to your beautiful soul. Some of you who learn energy, there are countless energy researchers who concluding that most of the energy draining in human body come from the negative and critical mind. As soon as you rest the mind by filling the gap between two breaths, all the energy draining that come out from the mind will totally stop. Feel the gap between two breaths. No matter how deep you meditate, the mind is always full of waves, going up with success, going down with failure, going up with good memory, going down with bad memory. But remember, you are no longer the wave. You are now the surfer. The board of the surfer is resting the mind in the gap between two breaths. as dolphin beautifying the ocean by being the dolphin, as butterfly beautifying the garden by being butterfly. You are beautifying the life by being yourself as you are. Rest the mind in the gap between two breaths. Quoting from the famous psychologist Carl Jung, the late Carl Jung, anything that happens in this universe bring their own messages, synchronicity. And the most important message that you keep remember in your mind is take a perfect rest in the gap between two breaths. Whatever the blessing in this moment, from the singing birds until the sound of motorcycle, use it as the holy bell to return back, resting the mind in the gap between two breaths, because that is synchronicity. As you read in newspaper, you watch in the TV, stress and depression level are increase every day, everywhere nowadays. And you can reduce the quantity and the quality of your stress by perfectly resting the mind in the gap between two breaths. Simply resting the mind in the gap between two breaths. That is a very beautiful medicine to any kind of stress and depression. Among 7 billion of people here in the world, there is only one person who can heal you perfectly, completely, and that person is yourself. For that reason, rest the mind in the gap between two breaths. That is the most important step to be your own best healer. No matter how deep your spiritual journey is, no matter how old your age is, our body consists of some of opposing materials like water and fire. Consequently, no matter how old you are, how deep your spiritual journey is, the mind is always full of wave. But remember, you are no longer the wave. You are now the surfer. The board of the surfer is resting the mind in the gap between two breaths. To some of close friends, beautiful friends who followed me for years, I keep sharing the light to all of them. No matter what happened in this moment, simply accept, flow, and smile. Accept, flow, and smile. That is beautiful stairs to heaven on earth. accept, flow, smile. Everything is the dancings of the same perfection. Accept, flow, smile. Remember to rest the mind in the gap between two breaths. If you rest the mind in the gap between two breaths very often, not only you can lower the stress and depression, your body is healthier, your emotion is happier. You can even have much more beautiful face by resting the mind in the gap between two breaths. You can have a more beautiful face by resting the mind in the gap between two breaths. If you learn deeply from human history, in every cycle of time, there is bad news and there is good news. In every cycle of time. While suffering soul are sad because of bad news, glad because of the good news. But beautiful soul like you, learn to be the server. You are now a server above the waves of bad news and good news. The board of the surfers is resting the mind in the gap between two breaths. Do not let the bad news giving birth to sadness. Do not let the good news giving birth to excessive happiness. Simply resting the mind in the gap between two breaths. As I said before, in every cycle of the time, in every cycle of human history, there is both bad news and good news. Rest the mind in the gap between two breaths. You may lose your job, but rest the mind in the gap between two breaths. You may full of doubt about the future, but rest the mind in the gap between two breaths. As it is written in the old scriptures of meditation, when you feel depressed, it means your mind hanging in the past. When you are full of fear and doubt, meaning your mind is hanging in the future. But as soon as you rest the mind in this moment by filling the gap between two breaths, you will be totally free from fear, doubt, and depression. Peace and happiness will naturally come to you when you rest the mind in the gap between two breaths. If you have only one gift that you can give to your beautiful soul, Give your beautiful soul the exercise of resting the mind in the gap between two breaths. It is the most beautiful gift to your soul. It is like children who receive a beautiful gift in their own birthday. Your soul will beautifully smile if you keep resting the mind in the gap between two breaths. I never tired to share to all of you. Accept, flow, smile. Everything is the dancings of the same perfection. That is how to rest the mind in the gap between two breaths. As widely shared by many meditation teachers, the direct consequence of deep meditation, your mind is getting wider, wider and wider, until one day enlightenment will make an inner explosion inside your mind until your mind can be as wide as space. That is what is going to happen to your mind if you keep resting the mind in the gap between two breaths. One day, there is inner explosion. It is called enlightenment. From that moment, your mind will be as wide as space. You are not only perfectly healed, but you are also purified and perfected. That is another meaning of enlightenment. Rest the mind in the gap between two breaths. The sad, the glad, pain, pleasure, bad memory, good memory, bad mood, good mood, are all like clouds, which coming and going. Clinging to the coming and going of clouds, that is the root of suffering. Stop identifying yourself with the clouds. You are no longer the clouds. You are now the cloudless blue sky, the witnessing sky. That is the true you, the witnessing sky. Rest the mind in the gap between two breaths. After spending long time enough resting the mind in the gap between two breaths, now we learn to forgive, because without forgiving, soul will never grow and glow. Without forgiving, soul will never grow and glow. First of all, visualize a crying baby on your left hand. It is the symbol of your soul wound. It can be the memories of being harmed by the parents, being bullied by the friends in the school times, being left behind by girlfriends or boyfriends, what kind of soul wound that happened in the past, call them and symbolize your soul wound as a crying baby on your left hand. Whatever the bad memory that come from the past, simply visualize them as a crying baby on your left hand. And the meditative approach of forgiving yourself is giving space without any resistance. Like giving space to anything. Learn to give space to your soul wound and bad memories of the past. Whatever the bad memories of the past, simply giving space without any resistance. That is the meditative approach of forgiving, giving space. One of the great philosophers from the past said, we cannot step into the same river twice. In the same way, those bad memories and soul wounds simply a flowing water that coming and going. Let them flow. Give them space without any resistance. That is the meditative approach of forgiving yourself. Like clouds in the sky, they just coming and going. Dark cloud, white clouds, they just come and go. The same thing happened to bad memories, soul wounds, the feeling of being harmed in the past. They are simply dark clouds which coming and going. Give them space without any resistance. That is the meditative approach of forgiving yourself. Give them space without any resistance. It will be more beautiful if you can smile to your bad memories of the past, simply giving beautiful smile. That is the meditative approach of forgiving. Without the hot sunshine, flower will never blossom. Without soul wound, soul will never blossom. Forgive yourself. Give space without any resistance to any kind of soul wound and bad memories from the past. Giving space without any resistance. In different degree, we are all wounded. In different degree, we are all wounded. Even the holy souls in the past were wounded. For that reason, learn to forgive. And the practical and the meditative approach of forgiving yourself. Give the bad memories of the past space without any resistance. Without the blowing wind, the kite will never fly. Without soul wound and bad memories of the past, the soul will never learn to fly. Learn to forgive your soul wound simply by giving space without any resistance. Without the high wave, the dancings of the surfer will never be beautiful. In the same way, without the waves of experience of the past, the dancings of your soul will never be beautiful. Learn to forgive your soul wound. Learn to forgive your bad memory by giving space without any resistance. After forgiving yourself, now we learn to forgive the others. Now visualize a crying baby on your right hand. It is the symbol of the soul wound of the person who harmed you in the past. It can be your parent, it can be your ex-boy or girlfriend. It can be your school friend who bullied you in the past. Visualize them as a crying baby on your right hand. In order to open the gate of forgiving, please deeply contemplate. It was not violence. It was not violence which makes the others harm you. It was not violence. It was deep soul wound. It is not only you who are wounded. The person who wounded you also wounded, even worse. If you are wounded by your parent also wounded by grandparent. The grandparent were also wounded by their parent. That is the chain of suffering that continuously happens from one time to time, one age to another age. And you can cut the chain of suffering by sincerely forgive. Especially because the most important reason why the others harm you, it was not violence, but it was deep soul wound. That is exactly how to open the gate of forgiving. Repeating the previous message, without the hot sunshine, the flower will never blossom. Without soul wound of the past, the soul will never blossom. Without blowing wind, the kite will never fly. Without soul wound, the soul will never learn to fly. Now visualize a crying baby on your left hand, your soul wound, giving beautiful rose of forgiving to the crying baby on your right hand. Especially because without forgiving, soul will never grow and glow. Quoting from the late Nelson Mandela, without forgiving, people will bring portable prison wherever they go. Visualize the crying baby on your left hand, giving beautiful rose of forgiving to the crying baby on your right hand. Forgiving does not change the past, but forgiving is certainly changed the present into a much more peaceful way. Visualize crying baby on your left hand, giving beautiful rose of forgiving to the crying baby on your right hand. That is a beautiful gift to your soul, the beautiful gift of forgiving. In order to perfect your soul journey, now we call the white light of Father from the sky and the red light of Mother from earth. The white light of Father comes from the sky, entering your crown chakra and rests in the heart, the fourth chakra. The red light of Mother from earth, coming from earth, entering your first chakra, also resting in the fourth chakra of the heart. Both white light of Father from the sky and red light of Mother from earth, giving birth to the light of love in the heart. Now visualize there is a pink light in the heart. It is the symbol that white light of Father from the sky, the red light of Mother from earth, giving birth to the light of love in the heart. Visualize the pink light of love in your heart. Now share the light of love to every single cell of your body, especially the part of your body which is painful. To some of you who have headache, share the light of love in the head. To some of you who have problem in the stomach, share the light of love in the stomach. That is the way to be the best healer to yourself. Now share the light of love to close friends, close relatives, close family, and the one you love. Visualize that they are happy because you are sending your light of love to all of them. Visualize that they are smiling to you. They are happy because you are sending the light of love to all of them. After spending light of love to close friends, family, and relatives, now sending love to your enemies, to the person who harmed you in the past. Send them light of love. Visualize that they are crying. They are also wounded like you. They also suffer. Now share the light of love to those enemies. Those enemies are actually hidden angels. They guide you to the path of the light. They are hidden angels. Share the light of love to those enemies. Now share the light of love to the lower, middle, and upper realm. Sharing the light of love to hell, Satan, animals, plants, human beings, demigods, gods, Dharma protector, Arahat and Bodhisattva. Now together we are sending the light of love to the lower, middle and upper realm. That is how to make your love unlimited and unconditional. Let me repeat once again. The best way to make your love unlimited and unconditional by sharing the light to the lower, middle and upper realm. From hell, Satan, animal, plant, human being, demigods, gods, Dharma protector, Arahat and Bodhisattva. Send all of them the light of love. By the time you are sending the light of love to the lower, middle and upper realm, let me sing to all of you the song of love from beautiful island of love, Bali. This is the song of love from the beautiful island of love, Bali. Hopefully it can share beautiful light to the suffering world. Putri Cheneng Ayu Ijang Cheneng Cuma Memelu Asmalu Kepekan mebelajar apa ngada darang nasi. Life is like staying in the hotels. The guests keep coming and going. Sometimes there are sadness and gladness. Sometimes there are pain and pleasure. Sometimes there are tears and smile. But whoever the guest keeps coming and going, keep smiling, beautiful soul. Keep smiling. Meme titiang iring nongos titiang juma sambilang mapun pun ajak titiang dadwe dimulih tiang gap-gapin. That is how to make your love unlimited and unconditional. Sharing the light of love to the lower, middle and upper realm. From hell, Satan, animal, plant, human being, demigods, gods, Dharma protector, Arahat and Bodhisattva. As soon as you open your eyes, please whisper deep into your soul the beautiful mantra of Aham Prema, meaning I am love who is here to share love. Aham Prema, Aham Prema, Aham Prema. Thank you, beautiful soul, touching soul wherever you are. Thank you to let me to be your own humble servant. Thank you. As I promised before, now let me summarize my previous presentations about forgiving is beautifying. I delivered this message on October 12th in the time of contemplating Bali terrorist bombing. In comparison with another islands in the world, Bali is very unique. While the terrorist bombing happen in every corner of the world, are followed by anger and violence, only in Bali, again, it is only in Bali, the terrorist bombing was followed by Ahimsa movement, non-violence movement. There is the spirit of forgiving there. At that time, the Balinese elder not only created rituals to Mother Earth, but also ritual to beautify our heart. Implicitly, there is the spirit of forgiving there, implicitly. For that reason, as preparation to listen to this evening presentation, Transforming Illness into Wellness, now this morning, let me summarize my last presentations about forgiving is beautifying. Forgiving can be easy, it can be difficult as well. It depends on how big your ego is. If your ego is big, meaning you feel better than the others, you feel cleverer than the others, you feel richer than the others, then forgiving is very difficult. But forgiving is easy if you have a very small ego. The way to make the ego smaller from time to time, learn to do the lower tasks like sweeping and mopping and vacuuming. That is exactly how I keep making my ego lower from day to day here in Ashram Awalokiteshwara in the northern part of Bali. Almost every day I sweep my room in the upper part of the ashram. I sweep my room personally. Sometimes my close students come from Jakarta and Bali as well. Usually when the close students come here to ashram, my wife asks the daily worker to clean the ashram. But for some reasons, sometimes those daily workers could not work. For that reason, the one who cleaned the ashram was me myself. Sometimes I even sweep the waste on the street, even though some of the villagers look at me in a very strange way. I keep sweeping the waste on the street because I keep trying to lower my ego from time to time. As soon as you are able to lower the ego by doing lower tasks like sweeping, vacuuming and mopping, then forgiving can be easy. Another thing, the second thing that you should remember to open the gate of forgiving, as I shared to you in guided meditation, learn to deeply understand the network of suffering of the person who make you suffer. Suppose that your father-in-law make you suffer. Learn to understand the network of suffering behind your father-in-law. It can be a struggling young age. It can be wounded by their parent. It can be a very difficult family. A lot of reason behind. As soon as you combine between small ego on one hand and the deep understanding about network of suffering of the person who make you suffer, then forgiving can be very easy. As soon as you are able to forgive, naturally your soul will be blossom in such a beautiful way. The body can be healthier, the mind can be happier, and you can eat well, and sleep well. That is the direct consequence of forgiving. As a bonus this morning, I will share to you some of the pictures that I keep here in ashram for years. The spiritual picture actually. The first one, this is the healing model of spiritual family of compassion. This is the healing model. I keep sharing this picture to thousands of meditation students, more than 10 years. This is the model of healing that we develop here in spiritual family of compassion. No matter what happens, it does not matter you pray or not, you meditate or not. You know, life keeps flowing from time to time, from age to age. Life keeps flowing. Like the wheel of the car, the wheel of motorcycle, life keeps flowing. It does not matter you believe in religion or God. It does not matter you believe in religion or not. Life keeps flowing. The problem with the suffering soul, they live in the periphery here. So that's why the symbol is crying eyes. To those people who suffer, almost all of them live in the periphery. One of the important characteristic of suffering soul who live in the periphery, they keep complaining, they keep protesting. If you keep complaining and protesting, meaning you live in the periphery, then life is very suffering. Suffering soul who keep complaining and protesting, they live in the periphery. Life in the periphery is very chaotic. What I keep sharing to all of you by the meditative practice of accept, flow and smile, the more you accept, flow and smile, you are closer to the center of the mandala. The more the deeper you accept, flow and smile, you are closer to the center. And in the center, there is no such thing as suffering. Life is naturally peaceful in the center. The beautiful steps to approach the center of the mandala is accept, flow, smile. That is the healing model of spiritual family of compassion. Hopefully it can inspire your soul journey. That is the first bonus for this morning. The second bonus, this is the picture that I keep here in ashram, but previously I never shared to all of you. There are 5 pictures representing the spiritual journey of every single soul. The picture come from the people of Zen in Japan, but the interpretation is different from one spiritual teacher to another teacher. The picture belong to the people of Zen. I'm trying to interpret as simple as possible this morning. At the beginning of the journey, we keep asking a lot of questions. Why am I suffering? What happened to my life? Why I'm here? What is the reason why I was born here on earth? A countless question. Yeah, seeking the way, whether turn right or turn left, go straight or go back. It is a lot of questions. At the beginning of the journey, we keep asking, what happened to me? Why I have a lot of problems? Why I have cancer? Why I have suffering family? A lot of questions. All people begin the spiritual journey by keep questioning. This is the picture of the person who keep questioning inside. Some of people begin to read Holy Scripture. Some of them visiting the Holy Guru, many things. They can find the answer by many ways. There are countless paths and ways here on earth. The first picture, full of questions. The second picture, as soon as you practice spiritual teaching from one religion to another religion, listening from one teacher to another teacher, contemplating one book to another book, you begin to meditate, practice yoga, meditation. You begin to know. In the beginning, we have to begin the spiritual journey by self-disciplining. This is the picture of self-disciplining. The cow, disciplining the cow meaning representing body, mind, and spirit. Learn to discipline ourselves. This is the picture of disciplining body, mind, and spirit. Cow representing body, mind, and spirit. Like what I did in the beginning of my spiritual journey. I was vegetarian for more than 10 years. I often fasting more than 10 years. I also practice meditation, doing some movement of simple yoga. That is how to discipline yourself, disciplining body, mind, and spirit. The cow is the symbol of body, mind, and spirit. At the beginning, we learn to discipline the body, the mind, and spirit. No matter what path that you follow, what I did in the beginning, I did vegetarian for more than 10 years. I often do fasting more than 10 years. I spend years of my time in the silence of the forest. You may try your own. This is disciplining body, mind, and spirit. The third picture, if you are diligently practice, you can bring body, mind, and spirit back home. You are beginning to be the rider of the cow. Now you are no longer body, mind, and spirit. You are the rider. You are riding body, mind, and spirit back home. The mind beginning to be peaceful. You can share, smile much more often than before. Forgiving can be very easy. You can understand that enemies are hidden angels. That is the sign that you are beginning to bring body, mind, and soul back home. You are now the master. The body, the mind, the spirit are no longer the master, but you are now the master. You are riding the body, mind, and spirit back home. That is the third picture. The fourth picture, you begin love to pray, not only praying for your own soul, your own life. You are happy praying to the happiness of all. The picture of person who keep praying. As the natural natures of water, which is wet, the natural natures of flower, which is beautiful, the natural of the natures of the soul who is back home. They want all beings are happy. So that's why I keep whispering the beautiful prayer. May all beings are happy, free from suffering. As soon as you arrive home, the symbol of home, there will be spiritual flower blossoming within. One of the important characteristics of beautiful flower blossoming within, you keep praying, may all beings are happy, free from suffering. You begin to be happy observing the others. That's why we here in spiritual family of compassion, we have center of service to prevent suicide. We have center of service to prevent divorce. We have center of service to take good care of the children with special needs. As soon as you arrive home, there is flower beautifully blossoming with it, hoping that all beings are happy. That is the fourth picture. The last picture is here. It represents the silence. The Balinese elder call it Sangyang Embang. The Balinese elder call God as the name of Sangyang Embang. It means the ultimate silence. In Buddhist, it is called wisdom. As water cannot be separated with wet, flower cannot be separated with beautiful, wisdom cannot be separated with compassion. So that's why wisdom and compassion is like a couple wings of the same eagle. The left wing is wisdom, the right wing is compassion. That is the way to explain the symbol of silence. When you attain the ultimate peak of silence, you will be like flower. It does not matter people praise you or blame you. The flower will naturally blossom. It does not matter people like you or dislike you. You will keep serving the others. That is the symbol of silence. In the Eastern philosophy, it is called mandala. It is called mandala. Mandala means perfection. That is 2 bonus for all of you who join us this morning. I hopefully I will share this bonus again 12 o'clock to all of you. Thank you very much, beautiful soul. Please don't forget 12 o'clock Bali time, there will be guided meditation today, 12 o'clock Bali time. And 6 p.m. today, in the moment of full moon, in Bali usually the full moon is extremely beautiful. I will share to you a new message today, transforming illness into wellness. If you have no time to wellness, you will be visited by illness. That is the message. If you have no time for wellness, you will be visited by illness. The key message is very simple. The key message is very simple. Excuse me. The key message of transforming illness into wellness is very simple. As you may notice, the word illness begins with I. The word wellness begins with we. Meaning, if you want to transform illness into wellness, remember to grow from the word I into the word we. The I is symbol of ego and selfishness. The we, the symbol of service, the symbol of loving kindness and compassion. That is the spiritual transformation that I am going to share to you this evening, 6 p.m. Bali time. transforming illness into wellness. Thank you very much, beautiful soul. Thank you very much, touching soul. We have been together for more than 1 hour. See you 12 o'clock today, Bali time, and 6 p.m. today, Bali time. 12 o'clock, there will be guided meditation, and I will share this picture again to you. And 6 p.m., I will share to you the new story of transforming illness into wellness. Thank you and good morning, everyone. Thank you, and thank you.